Hey everybody, welcome to episode 7 of A Discourse About Gaming, weekly video game podcast where Josh and I discuss and dissect the video game industry and review what games we've been playing. New episodes every Friday. How are you doing today, Josh?
Fantastic. I'm ready to talk about some games.
Yeah, well, there's a ton of news, surprisingly. I compiled a big list here. I had a lot of news to talk about last week, too, even though it was just me.
Yeah,
Did you listen to that? How was that?
I did. I actually loved it. I liked the solo monologue style. It's actually kind of fun. We might have to do that more.
It was, yeah, maybe you could do one week.
Yeah. Just talk to myself.
Yeah, it was weird at first. It took, I re-recorded the intro like 100 times, which is why now I have a written intro that I just used. The same written intro. It's like, now we have an intro that I'm not just rambling through the beginning like, we're a podcast.
You seemed pretty natural with it, though, the whole time. You know, it sounded good.
Yeah, I feel like it sounds even better now.
Nice.
But yeah, the big news today, recording this on Wednesday, the big news today is that the PS4 firmware 8.0 came out, and it's very bad.
Bad?
Yeah, so I'm going to read this straight from Push Square. So what this update has essentially done, here, I'll just read this word for word. What this update has essentially done, as far as we understand it, is introduce so many more steps to forming a party than there needs to be. So they basically revamped the whole party system. So before update 8.0, you could simply start a party by opening your friends list, popping off invites to your friends. Now you can only invite users via pre-formed message groups. Now, this change is fine if you have a dedicated group of people you always play with and that lineup never changes. However, the moment you veer off that path, problems start to arise. Let's say one of your friends has a buddy who wants to join the party or for some Call of Duty Warzone matches. You would have to create yet another message group purely just to send them an invite, when before you could simply list the party as public and they'd be able to join by themselves. Imagine having to repeat this process over and over and over again every time someone wants to join. Sony has created a hassle where there wasn't one. And it also seems that private parties don't seem to be a thing anymore. Like, you can't just make a private... Yeah, it's so bizarre. What's even weird is that as of the time that I read this article, it said that the friends list are still broken for most people. What? So, like, you download the update and you can't even see your friends list.
It's
a mess.
You're right. I didn't read up on this beforehand. This is really bad.
Yeah, like people on the...
Okay, did you ever use they have like a thing you could create, like groups. I think we even have a group among our friends called Suckers, right? Like we did at one point. And I remember like thinking, oh, that's cool, and then we just never used it.
It seems like they're doubling down.
But I'm assuming most people don't use that. I mean, I can't speak for everyone, but I simply just click on someone's name and send them a party invite, or I start a party and invite, the people I want in a private party. That's most of the time when I play, that's what I do.
And normally it sounds like I won't be able to do what I normally do, which is I get an invite and I immediately just go to the party screen and join the party rather than click on the invite. So I don't even know if that's going to work anymore. Have to figure this whole thing out.
They're fixing something that wasn't broken? Is that what I'm getting?
That's what it feels like. That's what the article says, and that's what it feels like. It's very weird. It's there's more of this stuff. I think I'm gonna there's more PlayStation changes. So they're doing a lot of changes in anticipation of the PS5 coming out.
Maybe there's something we don't know of that PS5, the UI in PS5 will just work smoothly or something on the back end that makes this make sense. Maybe in the context of the PS5 UI, this makes sense. But as of now,
it's possible that on the show next week we're like, oh, they fixed it, they made it better, it's fine now. It's not as good as it used to be. I don't. We'll see. I have a feeling they'll smooth it out. I don't really know why they changed the way they changed it, because I'll go into the next story, which kind of it segues into this a little bit. So the next story is that the PlayStation Store will stop selling PS3, PSP, and video games through the mobile app.
Vita games, right?
Vita, PS3, and PSP.
Okay.
You won't be able to buy them through mobile or through the website. So what's happening is that starting on October 19th for web and then October 28th for mobile, certain digital products will no longer be available for purchase. And it says like I already said, PS3 games, PSP games, Vita games, apps, themes, and avatars. you can only buy this stuff on their respective platforms. So you have to go on the Vita, on that PlayStation Store and buy stuff, which sucks because all of those consoles and their storefronts are really terrible.
Yeah, I was gonna say that did PS3 even have a working storefront?
It did, but it's so slow. It takes like minutes to load. It's
Because
so bad.
honestly, I played 360 during that time period,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I don't even remember the 360 storefront.
No,
So,
hardcore PlayStation fans will remember that when the PS3 first launched, for the first couple years, it opened a web browser when you
oh,
opened the PlayStation Store, and it opened up a web page, and you had to move a mouse cursor around the store page
gross.
to download the latest, Rainbow Six demo or whatever. But it was like, yeah, it's frustrating for me because I still use my Vita, and I like using the PlayStation app to see Vita games on it because
Yeah.
the Vita store is really terrible. Like
Mhm.
if I search for Persona 4 on the PlayStation Vita store, Persona 4 Golden is not the first thing that shows up. It
What?
shows like 100 DLC add-ons for a bunch of Persona spin-off games, like
Mm,
Persona Dancing All Night, whatever. If you search
yeah.
Hot Shots Golf, you're not going to get Hot Shots Golf at the top. It lists like DLC items as separate things. So it just sucks for,
So their search engine is bad, and their
yeah, it's
algorithms,
just.
it sounds like.
And also lately, I've been using the Vita this last week, and every couple of seconds when you're browsing the store, a little error message comes up and says this application is not working right now.
Oh.
And you just close the application. You just close the warning error, and nothing happens. It's just really weird and frustrating, and just makes me worry that eventually it's going to not work very well.
It sounds like they're double downing on their messaging of we're
Yeah,
moving
it's
on.
like,
We're
yeah,
we're
just
g- we're dropping everything else, and we're going full steam ahead in this
they're
next
just
generation.
they're dropping PS4 parties too. Just they
Oh
just
my god!
drop those
Oh,
things off.
PS4 parties?
Well, they're still there. They're still there. I was just
Yeah.
saying that they made them worse in the new
Oh
update
yeah.
today.
Well, I wonder if that's. I don't know why it would just be for PS4.
Yeah, I'm
Uh,
assuming PS5 will look similar. I don't know, because if you remember when I went solo last week, I talked about how those Japanese media outlets got to use the PS5 and they weren't allowed to see the UI
mhm.
or what the system looked like. I have a feeling it's just the PS4 interface.
Yeah, you know what? I
I
do.
think
I think you're right. I think you're onto something there because if there was something cool to show, I feel like they would have shown it,
Yeah. I
right?
feel like it's literally the same thing, and that's why they did all these updates to PS4 today, because they're gonna make them look the same.
Yeah.
I think it's like they're gonna unify it, so the PS4, layout and the PS5 layout will be identical. So that
Uh,
because that's how it is on Series X.
yeah, I was gonna say
I've seen
they're not changing the Series X, correct? So
no, it's all the same. So I've seen
so
people use the Series X on YouTube, and it's
yeah,
literally just the one Xbox One menu. It's the same thing.
but it probably smoother, right, and faster.
Yeah, no,
Um,
yeah, and we'll talk about that a little later in the end of the
yeah.
show about the
So I
Series X
guess we can't
impressions.
really get too mad at PlayStation for doing this because I mean Xbox is doing it as well. If
Yeah,
they're keeping the same UI.
yeah,
The whole party thing though, that's a mess. And then
yeah.
dropping PS3, PSP, Vita games. I'm sure there's still maybe not PS3, but I'm sure Vita still has a decent player base.
Vita does, yeah. I mean, it's slowly dwindling, and I think Sony's annoyed that people are still playing the Vita. It seems like they just want people to like go away.
What do they want to trend? I mean, I guess they don't want to compete in the handheld space
They
anymore.
just don't care about handheld anymore. Yeah.
I mean, I mean,
But what's weird
Xbox
about the
has their
Vita?
solution, xCloud.
Yeah, and yeah,
So,
we'll talk about that more too later as well.
hmm, nice.
There's some big news about XCloud you're gonna be really happy about.
Ooh,
Yeah,
Apple. Okay,
maybe.
we'll get to it. Let's get to it. I'm
I'll
excited.
get to this news story that you actually sent me that I didn't even see.
Hmm.
Is that Rockstar Games appears to have purchased Crackdown 2 developer Ruffian Games,
Yeah.
taking the studio under its wing and rebranding it as Rockstar Dundee. So let's see. I have this from IGN here. The page for Rockstar Dundee lists 10 major filings on October 6th, which includes a name change, a change of address, and Take-Two Interactive Software is assuming control, and a series of new employees is being confirmed as directors of the studio. So it seems like they're assimilating this whole this studio into the Rockstar network. So they're probably
Yeah.
working on the new GTA or whatever. And then it says, as well as Crackdown 2, Ruffian had worked on Connect Star Wars, Halo Master Chief Collection, and Crackdown 3. There's no official word from Rockstar as to what the Dundee branch is responsible for. Probably just making more GTA Online content.
This is interesting. I mean, we
It
talked
is.
about the Microsoft Bethesda
Behemoth?
behemoth acquisition weeks ago, right? This is a much smaller. I would say Rockstar Games it's smaller than ZeniMax, right? It's still
Well,
huge, but it's
Rockstar Games employs 2,000 people.
wow. Okay.
That's why Red Dead Redemption 2 is so good.
Yeah.
Because there's literally 2,000 people working on that game. That's why there's so much ridiculous detail in it, you know?
I mean, Ubisoft
But
games have a ton of people working on it, but they aren't
yeah.
always good, you know?
It is all split up. So there's like Rockstar Vancouver, Rockstar London, Rockstar Dundee, like we just said.
Yeah, I wonder what this means for the Crackdown franchise. Now, personally was never a huge fan of Crackdown. I have
Yeah,
honestly never played a Crackdown game. Just
me
what I've
neither.
seen, doesn't really interest me. Now, does this mean Rockstar owns Crackdown now, or did Ruffian work on
No,
Crackdown? Or is
no,
Crackdown still
it's
a Microsoft franchise?
yeah, Crackdown is still a Microsoft franchise because Microsoft
Okay.
published it. So now Take Two just owns the people who work at the developer culture.
Yeah, so it
That's what they
sounds
are.
this sounds more like Rockstar basically hired a bunch of people from the same studio. Cuz it right? Like
Yeah,
they might have
basically.
bought a studio, but they however many people were part of Ruffian, it says
Yeah,
they added to was it 10 major fillings? Uh
yeah,
so they added people on top of this so that it just sounds like they wanted to create a new studio.
yeah,
So they decided, okay, we'll just buy this one. They have a bunch of people, good talent there, and then
yeah,
and then added a couple more people, call it a studio, you know.
yeah.
And Rockstar Dundee, what is that? I mean, I know like Michael Scott holds the Dundies like every year or whatever, but what's the?
It's definitely related to that.
It
It's
is
yeah.
okay. They're kind of making fun of The Office. That I mean,
Hey, I have no idea what the Dundee name is supposed to mean. It's probably a location.
yeah,
I'm assuming it's a location. I'm not
yeah.
smart enough in my
Rockstar
geographical knowledge.
Rockstar
It,
Dundee. Maybe there's a Dundee,
Dundee, yeah, Dundee's a city in
Pennsylvania.
Scotland. It's a city in
Oh,
Scotland. It's a city in Oregon. So I don't know.
Oregon. Okay,
It's
but
probably a
not
city somewhere.
Pennsylvania. Okay.
Yeah,
Huh.
Mike is the office.
Yeah, I was trying to like make a connection
Yeah.
if Dundee was a city in Pennsylvania. Uh,
But yeah, do you have anything more to add about that?
Not really. I mean, this just means cool. More people working on games that we love. You know.
Yeah. So for the next story, we have a weird one. So Level 5 is reportedly ending their North American operations. Now, Level 5, have you heard of this developer?
No.
They are a Japanese developer. They make Japanese RPGs primarily. Their most popular, famous ones, they're famous for making Dragon Quest 8 and
Oh,
9.
wow.
And they made the Professor Layton games, the DS games, little puzzle games, which I love. And I also enjoyed Dragon Quest 8, even though I've never finished it. And they also made Ni no Kuni. That's probably what they're most known for. Their most recent games are Ni no Kuni. But they're ending all North American operations and says that right now they don't have any plans to release games in America anymore.
Wow. Yeah, I've
I know.
heard of
So it's
all those games too.
yeah.
I
So basically, what from this IGN article, they said that Level 5 and smaller spin-off studio Level 5 Abbey began laying off the majority of its employees in the middle of 2019. These rumors have been bubbling for a while now. It's been a while since Level 5 even put out a noteworthy game. But yeah, I just think it's sad to see
That's an
the
opinion though,
studio.
right?
That's me. That was me putting that in there, yeah.
Okay, yeah. A noteworthy game? I mean, wasn't I guess
Yeah, I
Dragon Quest
mean,
what year was that? Like 2003?
2009.
Oh, 2009.
Yeah, 8 was well, Dragon Quest 9 was 2009 and then
Okay.
8 was 2004 PS2 game. The
I mean,
last
I
big
guess
game they
the
put
writing was
out,
on Dragon Quest, so it's not the same developer for all the Dragon Quest games?
no.
Because
No,
I
it's
isn't it
it's
true that Dragon Quest as a series is mainly not in America anyways, right? It's like
yeah, it's
most of their games are in Japan and other countries, right?
yeah, it's mostly, well, they're all made in Japan.
Okay.
And I think all of them are published by Square Enix. At least in Japan, they are.
Mm-hmm.
I know like 9 was published by Nintendo, and that little stuff like that happens every now and then.
Yeah.
But yeah, for the most part, it is a Japanese centric franchise. But 11, the newest one, did sell really well in America. But Level 5 didn't make 11, so they made 8 and 9, and then I think just some developing studio at Square Enix made 11. I'm not sure who.
What are they more famous for? Their Dragon Quest entry?
Probably Ni no Kuni.
Ni no Kuni?
And Dragon Quest. I mean, Dragon Quest 8 and Ni no Kuni are probably the most popular games.
Have you played Ni no Kuni?
No, I haven't, but I've heard it's really good. It's on Switch now, so
yeah.
It's supposed to be amazing. It's supposed to be like one of the best JRPGs ever. Yeah, it came out on Switch a year ago, and PS4. There's a sequel as well. That's the last big game they made was Ni no Kuni 2, but that came out in let me look it up here, 2018. Ever since then, they've been making like Yokai Watch mobile games.
Yeah. Oh, maybe they're just going to go with mobile games then.
Yeah, it seems like they're just going to make mobile games, and
they
not
see
that popular here anyway.
I mean, yeah, that market is huge in Japan.
Yeah, no, the mobile game market is even bigger there than it is here.
Yeah, here I feel like it's more for casual, quote unquote casual gamers, right? Or just people that aren't even gamers. They just have a phone, so they download some mobile games,
Yeah.
But in Japan, from what I've heard, it's very much part of the gaming culture, right? Like the mobile device is considered a proper gaming console. Like at least like a ton of people play it. So
yeah, I think that's one reason why Sony didn't want to make a Vita 2 is because they saw the popularity of mobile phones and they're like, we don't need to bother.
Yeah, with mobile gaming becoming so popular, you've seen all these different devices where your phone can connect to like almost a Switch apparatus, right? Like it has the two handles, and it's basically a wide controller where your phone sits in the middle. You could connect your Bluetooth controller to your phone. So I can see that the argument of, well, why make a Vita? Why make a Vita 2?
Yeah,
you can just connect your PS4 controller to your phone, or you can use one of these third-party,
I mean,
inventions.
And the Switch too. The Switch is basically a giant Vita.
Yeah, but better.
It is. Yeah, no, it's got better games for sure.
Yeah.
Vita has a lot of indie games, and that's about it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think we can move on from that.
Yeah, I'll just say that's pretty. I mean, it's sad. It
is sad. Yeah, it's weird.
It's always sad to see a company go more exclusive, especially per area.
Yeah, like Konami did.
Yeah,
when they just stopped making games.
Yeah.
So anyway, you sent me a story that I actually just missed it last week when we recorded.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I remember. So last week I recorded the first part solo, and then in between recording the two halves, I actually saw that story where.
Yeah.
So the story is Marvel's Avengers has dropped significantly in its player base, and then today or in this last week there was another news story that came out where one of the heads at Crystal Dynamics made a comment about it. So this is from IGN. The Crystal Dynamics studio head, Scott Amos, has said he's confident that players will return to Marvel's Avengers, with new missions and modes promised to arrive in the weeks ahead. Amos issued a statement to Kotaku, who asked the developer for comment in light of what appears to be a diminishing player base, particularly on Steam, where it is now peaking at 2,000 players a day and has been dropping to less than 1,000. And then he goes on to list all the content in there adding, but I couldn't care less, so I didn't list it.
This is shocking. Honestly, this is shocking. This is Marvel we're talking about. This is the Avengers we're talking about, which was a cultural phenomenon, just 2 years ago. And somehow they botched their launch of one of their biggest games. Like,
I've heard the game just doesn't have an interesting end game. It's got a really short story, and then the loot, like the grind at the end game, is not compelling or interesting. Yeah. That's what I've heard. I haven't played it, so I can't speak to it in that respect. But I've just heard from.
But 1,000 a day, I feel like,
or less than.
Like Fallout 76 got a ton of shit, right? Like people shit all over that game, and I was super mad at them because I was like, this game's not that bad. But apparently, they definitely had more than 1,000 players a day on Fallout 76.
Yeah, I hear people say that Fallout 76 now kind of feels like playing a new Fallout game.
Yeah.
So it's like,
Yeah, because they added NPCs and all that. This blows my mind though. One less than 1,000 a day drop. You can't even. How do you matchmake in that game? That game's all about squatting up, right?
yeah,
Like
yeah,
it's a Destiny like, or like the Division or whatever. Like you're teaming up with friends online, and
yeah,
if there's only 1,000 people playing, how do you do that?
yeah.
With good connections? I That's crazy. This blows my mind. I I think this can be an entire podcast in and of itself, but I think this speaks to that genre more than anything. Uh, and I've heard some people talk about this, but it is that genre dying. Not dying, but is that genre already cornered by Destiny? Let's put it that way. My friend sent me a article. I can't find it right now, but basically the article was talking about, is Destiny the new WoW, the new World of Warcraft? Because back in the day, World of Warcraft, you know, took charge of the industry, in that their style, what their MMO RPG, you know, thousands of people playing on one server, whatever it was, uh, and what they had millions of subscribers each month, and no one really caught up to World of Warcraft.
Yeah,
There was other companies that tried to make that MMO that caught on, and they tried and they failed. They tried and they failed, and I could see this similar pattern happening with these shared world shooters like Destiny. They're trying to be, hey, like their publisher came to them and said, hey, make something like a Destiny like game. Just go do it.
yeah.
Put Marvels and Avengers and make a Destiny game.
It very much just feels like Anthem all over again.
Yeah, and I mean, so Fallout 76, so we mentioned earlier, that was
Yeah,
kind of trying to do that. Anthem tried to do that and failed. The Division, you can argue that it had a bad launch, and then the first Division came back eventually, and then the Division 2 had an excellent launch, but then player base fell off as well. They couldn't keep people engaged.
yeah,
So in that article that my buddy sent me, it basically talked about how they think that Destiny has cornered the market to where these type of games people won't be trying to compete with Destiny anymore. Destiny already is very successful, millions of concurrent players. They're about to launch on the new systems with the 60 frames per second, 4K, a whole new world, and a whole new expansion or whatever, and new classes and everything. Right, they're about to launch their new thing, and that's going to bring back millions of more players than are already still playing it to this day.
yeah,
Destiny's been around for 6 years now, and they've been able to hold a player base. I think there was a news article that said, "Uh-oh, Destiny's dropped to 1 million players a day," and that was big news.
yeah,
Like, think about that. So if that was big news for Destiny, and now they're riding at whatever how many players, definitely more than 1 million, definitely more than 1,000. I think they've definitely cornered the market. I think I pretty much agree with that article. I think Destiny will reign king for for that type of game, the shared world shooter, looter shooter. Obviously Borderlands. People brought up Borderlands, but Borderlands is a completely different type of game than a shared world shooter. That game is more co-op based. It's more, yeah, you jump in with friends, but it's a very single player focused campaign, anyways. And it's not the type of game that Destiny and those other games attempt to be. So yeah, I'm surprised that people are still trying to make these type of games, because Destiny obviously has
I
won.
really think I really think that it has to do with, the battle royale
Mhm.
problem, where you got all these battle royales coming out in the last 3 or 4 years. PUBG and Fortnite came out, and it's just like, everybody's trying to make a battle royale.
Yeah,
There's all these different competitors, and I feel like it's the same thing with the Destiny style games, where people only have as much free time in a day. There's only 24 hours in a day. People are going to find that one game. And if your game isn't compelling enough to draw in a permanent audience, it's just not going to.
that's a really
You
good
know,
point, actually, that I forgot to mention. Yeah, you flood the market. You flooded the
yeah.
market when there was already a ton of people playing.
If you have 2 million people on Destiny and then
Yeah,
Division 2 comes out, oh, now you have 1 million on Division, 1 million on Destiny. And then you have some new fans in there.
yeah. Eventually,
But
one's gonna
eventually, yeah, it's
lose
like eventually
interest.
it's like, and then Anthem comes out, and then then the existing ones like Division and Destiny lose a little bit of players, but then Anthem doesn't keep them, and then they all go back to Destiny or whatever.
Yeah.
And Avengers is another example where it's like, if you don't keep those people, they're going to go somewhere else.
Yeah, I think the the boss of Marvel Avengers, what was he, the studio head, right?
He was the Crystal Dynamics studio head.
Okay, Crystal Dynamics. Oh, sorry, it says Marvel Avengers boss.
It does,
yeah, Crystal Dynamics studio head Scott Amos. I think he's being a little cocky in this statement. Oh, people will come back to my game. Yeah,
you
have
to sell your game though. What's he gonna say? Yeah, I don't bother playing it. Screw it.
Yeah, I guess he's trying to save ship, right?
Yeah,
yeah, but he might be right though. He might prove me wrong, honestly, because I mean, Avengers is a huge property, and
I'm sure it's probably got a lot of people playing on PS4.
Yeah,
honestly.
Yeah, maybe
we just can't see those numbers.
Maybe that's where most of the people are. So maybe it's more of a console game, and maybe they do have 1 million people on console playing it. I don't know.
People, kids playing it are more likely to be playing on PS4 than having a fancy $1,000 gaming PC.
Wouldn't he have come back at this news and said, "Oh wait, but look, we got 2 million people on, PS4 and 1 million people on Xbox." Like,
maybe it's possible that information is not allowed to be shared, but I don't know. I don't know if it's maybe that's what it is. I have a feeling that's what it is, just because he didn't share it. Or it's also bad.
Yeah, it might be also bad. Which, anyways, it's sad news for a game that I didn't really care about in the first place. But remember, I've been going back and forth like, now.
I know it sounds like we're putting this in just to screw that game.
It kind of does. It's our everlasting campaign to make sure it fails.
Yeah.
But I do want to point out that. Poor Fallout 76. Now I feel bad about Fallout 76 because that game never dropped below 1,000.
Yeah, I'm gonna get to that game actually. I will. I want to play a Fallout game, and it's like, well, it's a new one. Why play an old one?
It's on Game Pass now, right?
Oh, I know. Yeah, I own it too.
Yeah, you own it. So, what I mean is, I bought it on PlayStation, so I can actually download it on Xbox and just play with you then.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Because I don't have to buy it again.
Interesting. So, in other news, Microsoft and 343 Industries have confirmed Halo 5 is not coming to the Master Chief Collection. In light of the new Halo 4 flight testing on PC, 343 has confirmed it is the last game they are adding to the Master Chief Collection, and Halo 5 will never be included. So, for those who don't know, is that Master Chief Collection came out on Xbox One many years ago. It was all broken, as we all know. Anyway, it's fixed and it runs great now. And then they announced it was coming to PC. And what they've been doing is they've been slowly, one game at a time, adding it to PC. So they added Halo 1. And for a while, that's all you could play was Halo 1. And then slowly over time, they've added 2, 3, ODST. And then now they are testing Halo 4. And they said Halo 4 is the last thing they're going to add. So for anyone who hoped Halo 5 would be part of the Master Chief Collection, it's not happening.
I wonder if this is a resource management thing. Like, they don't want to spend any more time on this old collection and want to spend all their time on...
The game already has 30 engines. We don't need another one.
Does it mix all the... I forgot about that.
It has 10 engines. Yeah, because the menus have their own separate engine. Each individual game has their own engine, and then...
So the cost to do this would... what about... I mean, adding Halo 4... Isn't Halo 5 based off the same engine as Halo 4?
Halo 5... Have you played Halo 5?
No, actually.
It plays a lot differently than Halo 1 through 4. I really think that's the main reason they never added it in. Mm-hmm. It's a very different game. It feels like a modern shooter. You aim down sights with the left trigger.
No, you don't.
You do.
Oh, no.
You aim down sights with the left trigger. You do that little dash move.
Yeah.
It was all the rage back then in 2015. Remember Call of Duty had that? Or you tap B and you dash left and right or whatever.
Yeah.
It's got all these fancy... It has vaulting, so you jump and hit a ledge and it vaults over.
Yeah.
It's got all these modern things that I think wouldn't really gel well with the Master Chief Collection. Because Halo 4, as different as Halo 4 is, it's only... it's not that similar to the old Halos, but it is more similar than Halo 5. And it has a bunch of old map remakes in it. So it kind of fits in with the collection.
Yeah, and the control scheme, like you said...
there's... Sprinting is the only thing different, really.
The whole point of that game of MCC is being able. The cool part about it actually is just being able to jump into a playlist and it'll mix all the different game modes and Halos together. So you could play a match in Halo 1, then jump to playing a match in Halo 4, then back to Halo 3. And it's so seamless. Like they do a great job of that. And I could see your argument of Halo 5 kind of fucking that up, right? Like you got Halo 5 with vaulting and dodging and whatever, and now aiming down sights. So it's not as you couldn't, because you know how you can set your controller to have one fluent scheme throughout all the matches, right? So you can whatever game you're playing, it'll be these controls, So I guess that could mess up if they added Halo 5. Maybe there's not a huge demand for Halo 5.
I don't think there is a huge demand for it. I know people enjoy the multiplayer, but I know the people hate the campaign.
And what is the name of this? Master Chief Collection. Was Master Chief a big role in Halo 5?
He's like in half of it.
Yeah, so I think that might be playing a part of it. He wasn't that, that was kind of the knock against the game, right?
Watch, they're gonna be like, Halo Infinite is coming to the Master Chief Collection day one.
They just forget about Halo
for
5.
free.
Ooh,
that'd be crazy.
Yeah,
I remember when the last time we all played Master Chief Collection, we were jumping between different games, like you said, and then you were all like, "Can we just pick one game? This is just too much." Jumping back and forth, like just pick Halo 3 or Reach or whatever. Just stick with that.
Yeah, because at the time I didn't really care for Halo 3. It was.
Well, they're all different. They all feel very different.
Halo 3, I kept losing in. I kept winning every match in Halo 2. So I was like, let's just stick with Halo 2 because I keep winning in Halo 2.
Yeah, I feel like Reach 1, 2, 3, and 4, they all feel incrementally a little different, and then 5 just feels dramatically different. So and also, before anyone writes in and corrects me, I forgot that Halo Reach was the first game that they put on PC, not Halo 1.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that. I thought Halo 1 would be the easiest.
Yeah, they did. Reach came to PC and then Xbox One at the same time. And then they added, a few months ago, they added ODST Firefights in Master Chief Collection.
We never jumped into that.
We should play that, yeah.
Yeah. Get Pierce and your brother on. Or I guess Pierce doesn't have an Xbox.
He has an Xbox. He just doesn't pay for the live. So he'd have to buy it, man.
To $1. For Ultimate.
I mean, he already got the bundle, so I don't know if he can get it again. I don't know.
One last thing about this. I don't know if this was part of the article, but it says right here, Halo 5 will never be included. Did they say never? They actually said never?
Yeah, they said never.
That's such a strong word.
Yeah.
That's such a... I don't... That never say never, right? What if there all of a sudden becomes a demand for it,
Yeah, I feel like they're just, I don't know. I feel like they're done with Master Chief Collection in a big capacity, and they're just going to maintain the game as far as updates, new content that they add to it. Because I don't know if you played it recently, but there's Halo 3 skins, weapon skins.
Oh wow.
There's a battle pass that's free.
I know about the battle pass. I want to jump back in and try out a couple things in there.
It's fun.
Is this writing on the wall for 343?
What do you mean?
I feel like at this point they know that this is their last chance with the Halo franchise. Halo Infinite, I feel like is their last. I'm kind of stirring the pot here, but is this the writing on the wall for them? Like they know it's the last chance, so they're gonna pull all the resources and try to make Infinite perfect.
You forget though that they've been shepherding the Halo franchise for 9 years now. So I don't think it's been like
as long as Bungie did.
Whoa, you're right. About that. 2001 to
2010 or whatever. So
what the heck?
So they've had 343 has had the franchise as long as Bungie. What have they done?
Yeah, in that 9 years, Bungie made Halo 1, Halo 2, Halo 3, ODST, and Reach.
Yeah, all pretty much full games.
And 343 has just made 4 and 5.
4 and 5, and MCC putting it together.
Yeah, I guess that counts.
But I guess 4 and 5, and they're working on Infinite, so they might release 3 games by the time Bungie already released 5.
Yeah, jeez.
And was working on Destiny.
Yeah.
So... Yeah, is this the writing on the wall? I mean, time will tell.
I don't know. Halo 4 was fine. I feel like Halo 5 multiplayer was fun. It just didn't feel like Halo.
Yeah.
And the campaign was just dumb. And then Master Chief Collection turned out to be cool. They just, I don't know. I've talked about it before, but 343 just has weird technical issues that I don't understand.
Yeah, with the
I
amount of
remember,
money that Microsoft has, how does this studio have these issues?
yeah, like the way no one ever talks about this, but if you have a subpar internet connection, you can't play Master Chief co-op, the
Really?
Master Chief Collection co-op. Yeah, there's an intense amount of input lag
Huh.
for the second person playing. I remember when I lived with my aunt and our internet was pretty slow. I couldn't play, like, me and Pierce could not play the Halo 1 anniversary co-op from like way back in the day when 343 made that. I guess they made that too. Yeah, I guess you could say 343's also made the Halo 1 and 2 anniversary games.
Yeah, but the
But yeah, I know it's just a remake. I mean, Halo 2
yeah,
had a lot in it, but
yeah.
anyway, yeah, if you play with a poor connection, it just straight up doesn't work. And you like hit the A button to jump, and then 2 seconds later you jump. They have weird infrastructure issues. I don't know what's going on, but I don't know enough about that to comment on it more.
Yeah, I
You
think
sent
time
me
will tell.
this, yeah. You sent me this story about Borderlands 3 that I did not see, and it's very interesting. So we talked a couple weeks ago about how frustrated we were with all these weird, wacky PS5 upgrade programs, and then the Borderlands 3 PS5 and Series X upgrade will be free, and it'll be automatic. So day one, when the new consoles come out, you'll be able to download this update. And then for my gen here, it says all next gen improvements to the game are free. Your current copy of Borderlands 3 on PS4 and Xbox One will carry over to the new console of that brand. So for graphics and performance, there will be a variety of upgrades, but namely the game will run in 4K, 60 frames in both single player and online multiplayer, and they will allow Borderlands 3 to use 3 to 4 player split screen co-op, which is super interesting. I don't know if anyone's going to use that, but that's cool that they can even bring it back. I'm curious as to how well the game runs with 4-player co-op.
I wonder
But
what that
yeah,
means. Like, if you create your own character, because in that game, right, you create your own class of character, and then you play through the campaign. And I
true.
know Greg Miller has talked about this, but Greg and his wife play, but they have to be on separate PS4s, right, to play
Yeah,
online together. So maybe this is to help people that do that, where they play with their wife or play with their kid or something, and now you could just be on one screen instead of having two PS4s or two PS5s. I think this is great news, though. I mean, Borderlands 3. Who's the developer?
Gearbox.
Gearbox. So this is I mean, gamer friendly move by Gearbox, right?
Mhm.
We had just 2 weeks ago, I believe, Insomniac had that whole debacle of PS5 Spider-Man will work if you bought it on PS4, but it'll have no upgrades. But then we're upgrading it in this version of Miles Morales, and you have to pay for that, and you can't actually buy it standalone, or I don't know. There was a bunch of weird things with that, right? And
Yeah,
it was in the whole point uh, that Borderlands 3 is making here is nope, it'll just work. This
yeah.
this will work on you
Day
have the
one.
copy, it'll work day one. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to think.
Because as
Which
it is right now, like if you put in your PS4 version of Spider-Man on your PS5, you're going to be just playing the PS4 version
yeah.
with no improvements, and you have to pay extra for the next gen improvements. Borderlands 3
Yeah.
is just like, here you go, free improvements.
Yeah, this is what we all wanted.
Yeah,
This
I
is
don't.
what we all this is what Xbox was doing with their what is it? Xbox, what's it called?
Yeah, our
Uh,
Series X upgrades even paid?
no, none of them
Yeah,
are
I don't.
paid. So
Yeah,
they
so
call it
weird.
they call it a something delivery.
Smart delivery.
Smart delivery, yeah. So Xbox Smart Delivery is this exactly. It allows any developer to go in, upgrade and enhance their game, their past game, and relaunch it on the new system, and it'll just work for free, right?
It
If you
just
if you already
works.
yeah, it just works. So
Yeah.
that's what yeah. So I don't know what this means for developers like I believe was it 2K or that I guess the basketball game NBA 2K21 where they said that it will work, but you have to pay $10 more if you want the next gen upgrades to it. Remember that? Uh,
Yeah.
so
To buy
and
the
that's a
Mamba edition or
yeah
whatever.
that's a third party studio though. So do you have to pay $10 more for the Xbox version? I
I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah, I have no idea.
But
it's confusing, and I hope more developers will make it less confusing. But as we move away from PS4, it'll become less of an issue. So
yeah, agreed.
over time, we won't care as much. Some exciting news. So for those who don't know, Microsoft has this service called xCloud. We talked about it on the show before. It allows you to stream Xbox Game Pass games from any Android device. And they want to bring it to iOS, but Apple has said that they will not allow it because you have to submit individual games to the App Store if you were to submit an app like that. So, from IGN, Microsoft is reportedly working on a direct browser-based solution that will allow it to bring its cloud gaming service, previously known as Project X Cloud, to iOS and iPad devices in 2021. As reported by Business Insider and The Verge, Xbox head Phil Spencer revealed the news during a recent internal all-hands meeting. He stated, "We absolutely will end up on iOS. We'll end up on iPhones and iPads with Game Pass." The newly announced Amazon Luna may hint at Xbox's alleged plan in that it will bypass Apple's App Store by being played through the iOS Safari browser and not be a native app. So I'm thinking that's probably what's going to happen.
Yes, this is
exciting
good.
That it's going to work.
This is really good news because all I have is Apple products.
Yeah, me
my
too.
Mac, I'm running this off right now, and I have my iPhone, X. So this is good news. This is really good news. It's a bummer that Apple didn't want to play nice. I think it's bullshit that they of their excuse that they made for not being able to put it, because you have Hulu, you have Netflix, you have HBO. These are all, you don't have to submit individual shows or movies to that to be reviewed or whatever. Like, I think that's stupid. But
it makes no sense because they're not, like, the submission thing it doesn't make any sense because you're not playing the game on the phone, you're streaming it.
Yeah.
It's weird. You're not running the game on there.
Yeah, you're
so
not
bizarre.
hurting the software or anything. You're just streaming to it, and it's just a second screen pretty much, right? Based off of a server.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's stupid, but I'm glad that Microsoft has found a roundabout way. I hope it's smooth. You know how you brought up web browser solutions with PS3 earlier in the show, and it was like that was kind of lame. But I hope it's not like that. I hope that you can just open up. I guess, would it be an app? It would be a Game Pass app that redirects you to a browser.
Yeah. I'm guessing.
I could see that.
Like you just open the app and goes through the browser.
You open the app and it runs through a browser. Maybe it keeps you in the app.
You probably make a Safari shortcut, and it looks like an app icon, and you click on it, and then it loads up Safari and loads into Game Pass.
I hope maybe there's some way to keep it, like you could download a Game Pass app from the App Store, and you click on it, sign in to Game Pass, and I hope it can work where you just click on the app and it keeps you within that app, because that'd be kind of weird if you click on the app, sign in, and then boots you out of the app into a different app. Because I don't know, that seems a little
essentially confusing. If it works on this browser, it'll work on any PC too. Anything with a browser. So,
I thought doesn't it already do?
Or does it? I don't know.
I'm not sure actually.
I thought it was like Android only, but I think you might be right. I think it does stream to browsers or something.
I'm gonna try that tonight. I have a work computer, PC, so maybe I'll check it there. But this is good news. I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm very excited. I'm excited to try it out. Another news story is that Rock Band 4 and all of its DLC will be forwards compatible on PS5, so don't worry, everybody. I know you were all very concerned about your Rock Band songs.
Aw, damn, I just stole all my equipment.
Just sold my $300 worth of peripherals because I thought they wouldn't be compatible.
I like that you put, is it 2009 again?
In the Google Doc, I put, is it 2009 again?
Yeah. Oh, man. I don't remember the last time I had a Rock Band peripheral or any kind of that peripheral. That's funny.
Yeah, I have a Guitar Hero controller that I use for Clone Hero on my PC, but
I was shocked that you had that when you told me about that. I was like, why?
It's cool. It works. You can just go on the internet. People have these Excel spreadsheets of every freaking song. You can just download the whole Rock Band 1 playlist.
It's like an emulator?
Yeah, it emulates Guitar Hero, basically.
That's cool. That's cool. Now you have every song there. So you
It
never have
isn't.
to buy it again.
Yeah, it's not an emulator. It's actually a fresh game. It's just built to look exactly like Guitar Hero. It's built in the Unity engine, which is a free engine you can download.
Yeah. I mean, you
Um,
could make money off of that guitar
it's
by just by either selling it, or you can make YouTube videos where you play, Call of Duty with a rock
yeah,
band
beat
controller.
beat a Destiny raid with a Guitar Hero
Yeah,
controller.
good luck. But I mean, hey, there is some function for it still.
So I want to jump ahead. So the news is over. I want to jump right. I had a topic I wanted to discuss this week. I'm just going to jump right into that first, and then we can go over what we've been playing right after. I wanted to talk about. Did you see the Series X quick resume feature that people have been showing off?
Yes, yeah.
Did you see like Alana Pierce's video or whoever?
No, I need to.
So
I need to watch hers.
okay, so here's what I want to say. It's really cool. So the way people have described it, or the way people are showing it off, is there's this new feature called quick resume where you load into a game. You load into Borderlands 3, for example, and you're playing the game. You're in the game. You're mid game. You pause. You back out to the home menu and the Xbox menu, and you load into, let's say Ori and the Will of the Wisps. You load into that game, and then you're playing that game, and from whatever spot you were paused in Borderlands 3 or Ori, as long as it's a quick resume enabled game, you can immediately, even when you turn off the console, you can immediately load back into the exact spot you were in. So it has like save states of these games. Now, what's even more insane about this is what Alana Pierce is saying, is that you can unplug the console and leave it off, and you could plug it back in and it still remembers where you were.
I did see this on Twitter. She did post
Yeah.
it on Twitter. I was shocked by that. That makes
Yeah,
my brain broke. Like I was trying to make sense of that because I'll tell a quick story. My brother and I, back in, I don't know, when we were 11, 12 years old, we were playing Halo Combat Evolved in the motorhome on a road trip. And my grandpa got so pissed at us because we weren't enjoying the views. He came back and unplugged it when we were playing. We were playing Legendary. We were almost towards the end of the mission. And back in those days, there was no saving. There was checkpoints, but if you turned off the console, you didn't get that checkpoint back. You could so it literally, and there was no check. I believe there's no checkpoints in Legendary, anyways. But he came back and just unplugged the console instantly. He didn't even try to turn it off the proper way. He just unplugged it, and it was like, "You guys need to get your asses out here and watch it. Watch the sunset." And so this just broke my mind when I saw this news that you can unplug it and somehow you plug it back in, boot up the console, and you could jump right back into where you were playing.
Well, if you unplug it while you're in game, it probably doesn't successfully save the state. Like if you just unplugged it in the middle of gameplay.
Yeah.
Because I think it's called a quick resume, and only certain specific games have to be built to use this feature.
Yeah.
I don't think the game has to be special to use it. I know it, like the developer just has to do something on their end to make it work. But it sounds like what it does is it basically stores a state of the game to the solid state drive. We don't really know how many games you can have in quick resume at once. It can't be infinite. There's no way. There's no way the solid state, without any sort of allocated specific amount of memory, can just infinitely hold like 20 games in these states.
From what I've been reading, it's about 6 or 7 games before it starts hiccuping, before it starts getting kind of not smooth.
A lot of people have been seeing this feature and like showing it off, like, look, I can switch between games instantly. That's cool. And it's like, and people are like, oh, I never use that. And it's like, yeah, no one would use it that way. It's cool because you can turn on your console and you could play, Call of Duty with your friend, and then when he gets offline, you can boot back into Borderlands, and it's exactly where you were. Like when you switch between games, or if you just boot up your console, even outside of rest mode, it's always going to remember where you were.
I think that's the function I personally am going to use it for
yeah.
mostly, right? Like I'll probably have a single player game that I'm trying to beat, for that week or two or month or whatever it is. I'll be going through that single player game, and anytime my buddies hop online to play some more Rogue Company or Siege or whatever, Fortnite or whatever, co-op game or online game, then I'll play with them. And then think about like Fortnite. you drop into Fortnite, if you get shot in the head right from the beginning, then you're done for that whole match pretty much, unless they revive you or whatever. But so you can essentially back out and start playing your game while you're still in the party with your friend, I assume, right?
Maybe I didn't even think of that. Yeah.
And then oh, hey, we're rezzing you, okay, and then pause and jump back in, right? I mean,
I wonder if that would work.
I'm curious. I want to see the videos of that. But
Yeah.
that seems like the bit, the most functional part about this is the convenience of jumping straight back into where you were playing right when your buddies get offline.
Or even just, I mean, being able to, without having to use the rest mode feature that
Yeah.
currently exists, to be able to just jump right into the spot that you're in of
Yeah.
the game without having to wait through the little loading menus like Microsoft Studios Flash logo and all those things.
Yeah, which
You can sort of
sometimes take a
immediately,
minute or two to load
yeah,
up.
yeah. Sometimes it takes forever.
Yeah, like Red Dead Redemption, I think it was like a 5-minute wait time
Yeah.
before
So,
getting into the game.
yeah, I know. So it's exciting. It's cool.
That's very exciting. And another thing I thought about, like if you have a large family or family members that play on the same console, maybe you have your game and they're playing through their game, their types of games, and it's all in the same house. I could see this function being really great for them because they don't have to, if they only have 20 minutes to play, they don't have to wait 5 minutes to load into a game. It could already be there ready for them. The convenience factor is great.
Yeah, so that feature is amazing. Everybody should go look up videos about it. Just YouTube, Xbox Series X Quick Resume. It's really cool looking.
Question.
Yeah?
Does PS5 have this?
I don't know.
Why don't we know this, Matt?
We don't know anything about the PS5. It probably does. It has something like it, I bet.
I was thinking about this today, actually. Millions of people pre-ordered PS5. I'm included in that millions of people. We pre-ordered this thing, and we have no idea what it does.
It plays games.
It plays games. We know the specs. But we don't know the UI. We don't know how games will look. What the UI looks like. We don't know if Quick Resume is a thing. We don't know if there's so much that we don't know, and we're a couple weeks away from launch. We're under a month away from the PS5 launch, and we don't know anything about it.
It's very possible it does have a Quick Resume feature, just because it has like the super fast solid state drive and everything.
Yeah, I hope so. Sony's confidence just amazes me. They must have so much confidence going into this PlayStation 5. Like,
yeah,
they don't have to say a word, and people will just buy their console, which is true. That we all bought it. So
yeah, I haven't yet, but eventually.
Yeah, the true fans bought it.
Oh. How dare you! It's true. It's true. This week I have been still playing Doom Eternal. I'll finish it soon at some point. I'm getting close to the end.
Really? So you played it?
Yeah, I'm in the last 2 levels.
Okay.
Well, I've been whittling my way through it over the last 2 weeks. I played a lot of it this week.
Is it like a 16-hour game, 12-hour game or something?
I don't know. I haven't looked it up. Yeah, I don't know how long. I'm assuming it's 10 to 15.
Okay.
I just know I'm getting close to the end just because it's like ramping up, like the narrative of it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I've been playing that. I played a little bit of my Vita, like I said earlier. I played Hotline Miami, which I played before, but I was replaying that. Game's good.
Is that a single-player game? What is that?
It's a single-player game. It's where you go around in these 2D levels, and you have to quickly, as quick as possible, kill a bunch of like mafia members in like a mafia hideout.
Yeah.
So you enter a room, and you have to like just shoot people or hit them, and there's all these little. If they see you, you die. So you have to like move really quick.
Wow.
Basically, you're moving around. It's kind of half stealth, half fast-paced action because you don't want people to see you, but at the same time, you got to move fast so that you don't get killed.
It's like an over-the-top view or a top-down?
Yeah, top-down.
I've heard about this game, and I've always heard high praise about it. Is it stuck on the Vita?
No, it's on everything. It's on PS4. It
probably works really well with the Vita handheld, though.
Yeah, it's great on Vita. I played a little bit of Spelunky, the first one on Vita, just a couple hours. That game's weird. It's a roguelike. It's very old. I'm trying to get into it, but I don't know if it's for me. It's hard.
Spelunky 2 was announced recently, right?
It came out.
Oh, it came out?
Yeah, it came out.
I might be thinking of a different game. Is it a 2D platformer, but hardcore?
Yeah, I don't know if I'd call it a platformer. It's a roguelike. It's kind of like one of the original roguelike games. But yeah, 2 came out a while ago, like
2D.
a month ago.
But it doesn't have like your timing and dodging and stuff like that in it.
Yeah. You're
So
dodging like
maybe not a platformer, but I guess
it does have platforming elements. Yeah,
okay.
you're jumping around on little mines
I
and
think I saw
platform.
a video of Spelunky 2. I've heard this has a hardcore fan base.
Yeah, people were obsessed with the first game, and it's hard to play.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's difficult. What have you been playing this week? More Rogue Company, I'm assuming?
Yes, yeah. Rogue Company on PS4 and Switch because
Does it transfer?
dude, yeah, and I think I mentioned last week how I wasn't sure how that all worked, but guess
Yeah.
what? I tested it this past week, and Rogue Company, you just have your sign in. I forget. It's not. It's like an Epic sign in, right, through
Yeah.
Fortnite. Similar to that, you can just sign in with your credentials, and you could play it on any device and anywhere. So I played it. I signed in on my PS4. I was playing a bunch of that. Then my son woke up from his nap, and I was like, "Oh wait, I was in a match with my brother-in-law at the time." And I said, hold on. And I was literally mid match. And I turned on my Switch. I kept my PS4 on. I turned on my Switch and loaded up Rogue Company, hit log in, and it didn't even go to the main menu. It just jumped right into the
What
match
the
I was
hell?
playing in. Yeah, I was blown away. Uh, and it switched. And then on PS4, it booted that. It booted that back to the main screen on the PS4, and I continued to
Okay.
play on my Switch.
Okay.
Yeah, this sounds like
Remember
voodoo
when
black magic,
yeah.
right?
Remember when, like, it was never possible for, crossplay to happen? Everyone's like,
Yeah,
"Oh, you can't do that. You can't have PlayStations and Xboxes playing with each other. It's all different."
they
And you
lied.
literally just went from PS4 to Switch mid-game?
Mid-match, dude. It was there. The round ended. I switched on to my Switch, and then
We're
literally
gonna need
resumed.
video evidence of this.
Okay, I mean, I'll gladly
So
do it. It was.
if you could record this and I'll attach it to the YouTube version of the
I
podcast.
was still in the party. I was still in the PS4 party with my brother-in-law, and I was like, "What the fuck?" I just switched into a different system on a different, like, it's a whole different ecosystem, right?
Yeah.
Like like how did that work? And then I continued to play on my Switch with him. My son
It's
was already awake. I did not
Your son
understand.
was mind blown.
Yeah, he just came out. I was like, "Dad, that was cool," but he can't speak yet. He's only 2. But
Those are his first words.
he's like,
Whoa,
"Whoa,
sick.
bro, cool." Yeah, I was blown away by how fluent that was, and then I realized, wow, they've been lying to us all these years that crossplay can't work. I call bullshit.
Yeah.
The crossplay completely worked in that scenario, and it worked so smoothly. I'm gonna do it again just for fun. Like
Yeah.
maybe I'll try switching from Switch to PS4 this time. See if it works back, if it's friendly that way. But I was blown away by that. Anyways, I've been playing a lot of Rogue Company. I think I passed the 15-hour mark on it,
Oh wow.
almost 20 hours. Um, and that's because the game is so addicting. It's so simple. It's
Yeah.
very much like your Counter-Strike type game where every match essentially is the same, but it plays out in so many different ways. So it keeps
Yeah.
you interested. Just like Siege. We played the same map on Siege a million times, and it was fun every single time. And that's kind of how this one's going. It's definitely more fun with friends. Uh, we ended up inviting a third player to our squad. It's 4v4, so we had 3 out of 4 players grouped up, and we ended up dominating with the couple matches that I played with 3 players. So I can't even imagine 4 players like like
Yeah.
completely destroying everyone. So it's yeah, it's a fun game. I'm gonna continue to play it. I'm gonna I'm probably eventually just gonna buy the starters pack or whatever.
Whoa.
They have a starter pack. They have a founders. I think it's no the standard pack. They have like a founders pack and then like a standard edition pack and then like some epic pack, right? But each tier gets you a different amount of players that you can play with. They call them rogues. I might do that, or I might just
Hence the name.
hence the name Rogue Company. I might do that, or I might just buy a la carte a rogue that I research and looks cool, right? Like I'll research what rogue plays or fits my style the best, and maybe I'll just buy that person a la carte.
Yeah.
Which is cool. I like that games give me agency to do this, right? Like gives me the option. It hooked me in with free to play, and now I'm playing every night. I'm going to throw some money at it because I enjoy the game, and it's good to support developers anyways. So if you haven't checked out Rogue Company, remember it is free to play on any system you have. So check it out. Switch, it works. PS4, Xbox. Yep. So it's fun. Yeah. Hit me up if you want to play as well. I was about to give out my
I know. I was
username. I
like,
was like,
am I gonna
maybe
have
I
to
should.
write this time code? Am I gonna have to write this time code down to delete
Yeah.
it later?
Just in case, like 30
Almost
or
did.
10 years from now, we have millions of
Yeah.
followers and they go back and listen to this. Anyways, so I
I
played.
see here you've also been playing Genshin Impact.
Yes. Yes.
How much have you
So
played of that?
I
Because I have
beat
not played it yet.
I beat the entire prologue. Now
What?
that sounds like not a lot, but their prologue's kind of a little bit longer. It's probably 2 or 3 hours in.
IGN reviewed it. They gave it a 9.
Yeah, the game, it's a free to play Genshin Impact. Okay, it's a free to play. I think it's. Why do I keep seeing articles that say MMO on it?
I don't know.
I'm not to the MMO part. I have not seen another live player, but maybe they're using that term wrong. But either way, from what I've played, is it's like it's a Breath of the Wild
It's an action
meets.
RPG, right?
It's an action RPG, but it's Breath of the Wild meets Avatar: The Last Airbender,
Okay.
and that combo is so cool. Like they have a giant cutscene in the beginning where you're flying through the air, some evil thing is attacking, and someone shows up. It's you and your sister, and someone shows up and steals, and you could choose to play either female or male, right? So I chose the male, and they stole my sister away. So then the game, like he like entraps your powers and sucks the power out of you or something, and then you get thrown to the ground, and then you wake up on this beach. And so far, the whole intro was so cool. Like that whole scene was amazing, and it's free to play. You guys have to check this out. We basically, you wake up on the beach and you start killing like little low level enemies. Every enemy has a level. I'm only level 15 or something. Sounds like a lot, but you spend points to level up each character. But here's the catch of the game is the whole prologue. You're going through and you're meeting. There's a lot of talking to. There's a lot of like dialogue. There's a couple dialogue options, but you go through and following waypoints in this open world, the beautiful open world that looks like Breath of the Wild, World of Warcraft. It just looks like even Fortnite. It has just wide open fields and whatnot. And you meet different characters that eventually join your party by, of course, you helping them out. I think that's a classic JRPG move, right? You kind of help someone out with their thing, and then they join your party. And the catch to this game, though, is it's interesting. You have to switch between characters, but their characters aren't on the screen. So, like, if you switch to there's four. Let me just lay it out here. There's four different characters.
Okay.
That you end up meeting and helping, and they join your party. And the four different characters are four different elements: wind, fire, water, and electricity. And those four different characters have big, huge personalities. They're so unique and different. Their move set is completely different. And you basically will confront enemies, and with those four elements, those four characters, you switch between them mid combat to do different moves and different combos, right?
Well, that sounds
So
cool.
you'll freeze an enemy with Mr. Frost, whatever his name is, and then you switch over to the, I don't know, the fire arrow girl and shoot a firing arrow, and it combos, and does more damage. Same with wind and electricity, and you could combo all four of the elements together in different ways.
Yeah.
And so you can do that mid mid-fight pretty much, which kept it really interesting. And this is all in the first, 30 minutes to an hour of the game. You could probably get all 4 characters. And another interesting part, and why I say it's like Breath of the Wild, is the environment reacts similarly to your elements. So just like in Breath of the Wild, you can, if there's a patch of grass and you shoot a fire arrow at it, it's going to catch on fire, the whole grass area around it.
Yeah. Yeah, I
If
saw that.
there's water on the ground, if they're standing in water, you could freeze the water and in turn freezes them, whatever character's in it, whatever enemies standing in it, right? You can combo, you can literally like shoot guys up in the air with your wind avatar, and then combo it with a floating barrel and shoot the floating barrel with a fire arrow and explode him, and he goes flying. Like, there's so many different options with combat in this game. It blew my mind, and it wasn't hard to do at all. Like it wasn't complicated. And
sounds cool. I'm gonna check it out. I'm gonna buy it, or I'm gonna download it on PS4 or mobile or something.
Yeah,
and try it.
I would avoid mobile just because even though the controls are easy and the
well, I am crazy and I will do it anyway.
I don't. Your first experience should be on console. I would say. Maybe it's good on mobile. Maybe maybe I'll try that out. I can
play it anywhere.
Yeah, you can play it anywhere. I'll try it on mobile. Maybe we'll report next week and see if it's good on mobile. But
yeah, I'm gonna try. I have it downloaded on my phone. I'm gonna play it at some point. Yeah,
I'm curious to see how that works. The game itself,
it's terrible.
The game itself lives up to its hype, and it's a lot of the articles I read about it this past week were, I can't believe this game is a free to play game, right?
Yeah.
Because there is so much content in it. You eventually, in the open world, you actually go up to these different doors and you could go into different dungeons, right? And I think that's kind of Zelda-ish, right?
Yeah.
And definitely like World of Warcraft, you have different dungeons and whatnot. But guess what? Those different dungeons have different difficulty levels. And I noticed on one of the first ones I did, it was like, oh, level 5. And I clicked on it. There was a level 25 right below it. And I wasn't even close to level 25. So looks like there's a ton of replayability. I don't know, that they must change up not only the difficulty, but probably some differences with enemies, because there wasn't that many enemies in the first dungeon. So I'm assuming this game has a ton of replayability. There's some kind of hook to it because a lot of streamers are still playing it. So I don't think I've reached that hook yet, even though the story is still really cool and the gameplay is really cool. But I don't know what the loop is, the gameplay loop of the game is. But if you like Avatar: The Last Airbender and you like elemental stuff, let me really quickly go over some of the moves though, because just to tell you how different they are. Circle basically on each character does your main attack, but on your wind guy you have a sword and you swing a sword around, and on your arrow girl you have a bow and arrow and you shoot arrows out. So it's a whole different play style. Just hitting a circle, it locks onto enemies like that, or you could hold L2 and shoot with R2, right? But then you have your there's another guy that has like a baton type thing, but it has less range than the sword. But then what shocked me was, or no pun intended, but the Electro girl, basically her circle ability was like some cool like Harry Potter magic kind of range attack where she shot like bolts of lightning out of her fingers, and if you held down circle, she like charged up some attack where you saw like sparks coming off of the enemy, and then you let go and then the enemy explodes. And it was, I don't know, there's really cool variety in this game. So
it sounds cool. I'm gonna check it out.
Yeah, definitely
I'll play it as well. Don't spoil the whole game for me.
I will. Yeah, I already did. So no, there's a lot to it. So
yeah. So I mean, guys, let us know what you thought of this episode. It was a little shorter, mostly just because I have somewhere to be right now. But yeah, I sort of brought it to myself as a challenge. Like, let's see if we can condense a whole episode that normally takes us 2 hours into about an hour. And I feel like we did pretty good.
Yeah,
I feel like it kind of motivated us to stay on track.
I agree. Yeah, and our rambles weren't as bad, I hope.
Yeah,
I
know,
rambled a little bit about Genshin, but it is a fun game, so.
I also tend to like go off on these weird non sequiturs, and I was really trying to rein it in this
no, I
time.
think you did great, Matt. That was a great episode. Pat ourselves on the back here.
Pat ourselves on the back.
Do you want to plug where people can contact us or follow
everybody, you can contact us at the adagamingpod@gmail.com. Also, please check us out on Instagram, Facebook under ADA Gaming Pod, as well as Twitter. And we have a YouTube channel. I post the videos up there every week on YouTube. No one watches them, but they're there for you to
watch. Future reference.
For people who have YouTube Premium and they want to listen to it that way, go for it.
And eventually, like I've mentioned before, I am determined to do some kind of Let's Play. So
yeah, that'd be fun.
It might not be till next year. Maybe that's a next year 2021 thing. But hey, keep an eye out for that.
This has been a discourse about gaming. We'll see you next week, everybody.
See ya.